Hello, everyone. I wanted to do another quick video with you today, continuing this whole series that I started about how to break free from getting stuck with doing tutorials, but never being able to create anything on your own. And today, the topic I'm really going to be talking about is um, how to be more active with your tutorials rather than just reading through by actually taking notes. All right. And I'm going to be using as an example, there's a game development framework called Monogame, which is based on a language called C sharp. And I've used it before for like 2D games, two-dimensional games, and hopefully it's okay. But I'm just going to use their really good beginner tutorial that they have as an example. So I'll post the link in the descriptions, but the chapter that I'm looking at of the tutorial is about one of the files that is created when you create a new game project. And you can see here, this is kind of what the tutorial looks like. There's a lot of, it starts off with a little bit of description of what you're looking at in this chapter, as well as like a walkthrough of the code. All right. Um, we're not going to be walking through the tutorial itself or the content, but I just want to kind of show you what it looks like. So you've got the code. It there is a description of the code structure. There is some helpful diagrams to show kind of like the process of how a mono game project executes or runs. And, again, as you look through, there's a lot of text and a lot of explanation, right? Really good stuff here. If you want to learn monogame, I'd really recommend it. And then at the end, there's a conclusion which kind of goes through an overview of what you did, and then some knowledge questions, some review questions. Okay, so one approach to doing this tutorial would be to just sit and read it, read it through from start to finish, and then, read through the code and don't necessarily do any more but read. And then, maybe you might answer the questions at the end, which I like the fact that they have questions, and I think that's really helpful. But the process that I kind of described is really sort of passive, right? You're not really interacting with it, all right? Um, a better approach would be as you're going through and reading, would be to actually type in the code, set up a project. And this is chapter 3, so you would go through chapters 1 and 2 to actually set up monogame and set up a new project. But after you doing that, I would go through and actually, if this, I think in this tutorial, this code is actually provided for you by default. So you might not have to really type anything in. But if you have if you're looking at some of the future chapters where they're adding on to the code that they give you by default, I would definitely recommend actually typing in the code. All right. An even better approach, because typing in the code still is doing what the instructor tells you to do, right? So an even better approach is to actually take notes on this content, right? So you've kind of got a preview of what this looks like, this tutorial looks like, and again, you'll have the link so you can go and look at it for yourself. And there's also a video, if you prefer the video version of it. But I took notes as an example of what I'm telling you about, and all I did was I just opened up. I use Open Office. You can use Microsoft Word or whatever, uh, Google Docs, whatever you use, right? And if we just kind of look at the structure here, notice I didn't copy everything, right? I didn't copy all of the text. What I did basically is I set a timer for I think 10 minutes at a time. And I just took my time and went through. And after I read each section, all right, you can tell the sections by like the headings, right? Um, what I would do is I would take notes on the key point, right? And I think this tutorial does a really good job of kind of helping you uh, navigate through what's important and what's not, right? Through like the layout, the use of headings, the um, things that are highlighted, that sort of thing. And I didn't necessarily have to copy all the code. I didn't write everything out word by word, but like I said, I just wrote down the key points. And with this whole tutorial, I my notes was about a page long. Um, and then at the end, I added some review questions of my own, right? So that's the really active part too. Um, is that not only are you being active by taking notes and identifying what's important and what's not, but thinking about, well, what is important here and what would I need to know later, right? And when you answer that question of what do I need to know later, that helps you to structure some review questions for yourself. All right. And that's actually a really good way to study is like if you were taking a test on this, being able to anticipate what the teacher would ask you, that is one of the ways you can practice that is by making your own review questions. Okay. So I'm also going to link you guys to a resource that talks more about how to take notes and whatnot. And this could be for reading notes or for video notes if you're looking at the tutorial. But here's the last thing I wanted to leave you with, because it doesn't stop. It doesn't end when you actually take the notes, right? The other thing that you need to do is you actually need to go back and study them and review them. And again, you don't just read the notes, but you do things like you answer the review questions or you make flashcards for yourself. And what are the tools that you can use? There's lots of apps and online sites, and you have pencil and paper, so you can buy flashcards, and you can make like study guides and flashcards and quizzes for yourself. But if you want to use like an app or an online resource, Quizlet, Quizlet.com, that's one that is pretty popular and that actually has study guides and flashcards that other people have made too that you can search and study as well. But you can make your own. So what I did here was I created an account for the Cloudy Heaven Games on Quizlet, and I made up a little folder and I uploaded my notes that I did. Right. So in Quizlet, one of the things you can do is you can create. Let's see if I go back. Let me go home actually and show you how you do this. You create content and you can create a study guide, right? And you can upload your notes here. You can copy and paste or upload the file or whatever the case may be. And once you do that, it will generate like a study guide for you. And I know that there are some ethical concerns with using AI, and I understand, and I also think that it's also good for you to just do some of this manually if you have the time, so that you get the review. I haven't seen how you can turn off the AI generation settings in Quizlet, but what I did was I did go back and brush up the study guide that it generated for me. So and once you've created your study guide, let me show you what my study guide kind of looks like here. And I'll link this as well. So, it's basically like an outline, something that's really easy to read. And then what's really nice is that you have options to learn this content. So you could do flashcards. Some of the review stuff, study tools are locked behind a paywall in Quizlet, but I believe you get access to study guides for free and flashcards, right? So now you have flashcards. I think these are auto-generated too, so you can go back and make your own or edit them, the auto-generated ones. And now you've got flashcards that you can study, like on your phone or on your computer or whatever the case may be. So if you want a digital flashcards, you can do that. If you want paper flashcards or like traditional flashcards and notes, you can do that as well. And of course, the other big thing is to actually code and learn and study that way. But this is good because a lot of times with programming and computer science, you have like some factual and contextual stuff that you need to know. So this is another way that I think will help you if you want to learn how to break free from a tutorial. Because now, after you've done this step of taking notes and actually setting up a way to review them, you don't just read the tutorial and then go back and come back like a week later and you've forgotten everything. You read it, you take notes and actively absorb the material and think about it as you're typing the notes, and you go back and you review and reinforce it. So now when someone asks you, oh, okay, what did I learn in this tutorial? You can remember what you've learned and be able to use it and maybe even teach somebody else about it. Okay, so just another tip that I have for you about how to break free from tutorials and be able to start making your own games and software projects. I hope this was helpful. Again, check the description for this video for some helpful links, and feel free to leave a comment or question if you have anything. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good one. Bye.